Well, we know that ancient beer was drunk in China 9,000 years ago, but it was not likely for recreation. We know that even from rice. We know that sake is made, sohu, and various other things that are made from rice and other barley or whatever. And now beer. Of course, 9,000 years ago in China, archaeologists discovered some of the oldest artifacts ever found to be associated with beer. It was hauled from Kuao in southern China. It dates back to 9,000 years ago, but it appears that the ancient drinkers in question weren't in it simply for the buzz. The find consists of 2 human skeletons surrounded by scores of ceramic pots, actually some of the earliest painted pottery ever found, and what appears to be a burial mound in a non-residential area. Of all 50 intact vessels uncovered there, the researchers took 20 to analyze them. Previous research established criteria for identifying socially valued food items in the archaeological record: what they drank, what they ate. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. And of course, these are some of the ancient pots. As you can see, there were various sizes and painted as well. So these are the pottery that were found. They also examined the social value of the food items, such as whether the ingredients are hard to collect or take time to produce. The beer, in this case, would tick most of these boxes, and that led the archaeologists to conclude that the beverage in these containers were not just part of a regular meal. All that points to the drinking having been part of the ritual ceremony relating to the burial of the dead as well, the researchers think. Some of the pots were similar in size to the drinking glasses of today, while 7 of them appeared to be long-necked hu pots used for drinking alcohol in later historic periods. Now we know in Asia a lot of times over the burial mound they would take a pot of sohu or sake or whatever their ancient beer was, some type of a drink, and pour it over the mound as a type of a ritual as well. Now, through a residue analysis of pots from Quantu, our results revealed that the pottery vessels were used to hold beer in its most general sense. This is what anthropologist Jiajing Wang from Dartmouth College, New Hampshire said, and these are his pictures. This ancient beer, though, would not have been like the IPA that we have today. Instead, it was likely a slightly fermented sweet beverage, which was probably cloudy in color. Basically, these are the pots that you can hold in your hand, a little bit bigger than a mug, I guess. So, the analysis of the pots looked at samples of starch, phytoliths, that's preserved plant residue, and fungi recovered from the inside of the uncovered items, which were then compared with control samples taken from the surrounding soil. And the traces of the starch granules, phytoliths, mold, and yeast found in the pots were all consistent with the process of beer fermentation. It appears that rice, grain, and unknown tubers were used to cook up the booze. Rice husks and other plant parts may have been added to aid the fermentation. As the remains are from so long ago, back when rice was just beginning to be used as a staple food, it's difficult for the researchers to say for certain how the alcohol might have been produced in this ancient community. Wang said, "We don't know how people made the mold 9,000 years ago, as fermentation can happen naturally. If people had some leftover rice and the grains became moldy, they may have noticed that the grains became sweeter and alcoholic with age. While people may not have known the biochemistry associated with grains that became moldy, they probably observed the fermentation process and leveraged it through trial and error. Mold acts as an agent in both stages of the beer-making process. Saccharification, transforming starch into sugar with enzymes, and fermentation, converting sugar into alcohol and other states with yeasts. The researchers also tried to slot the discovery of these beer pots with wider picture of society in China at the time. Today, this area of southern China is the country's rice heartland. but then it would have been populated by hunter-gatherers relying on foraging for food. More advanced rice farming communities would not form for another several thousand years, and the team behind this new study thinks that beer might have helped oil the wheels of corporation society back then, just as it can do today. The findings suggest that beer drinking was an essential element in prehistoric funerary rites in southern China, contributing to the emergence of complex farming societies 4,000 years later. This is what the researchers wrote in their published paper, published in PLOS ONE. This is on Science Alert. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.